We're looking at new and small political parties riding on the perception that Nigerians are tired of the PDP and the APC. And it seems as though that's the only thing, that's the only premise. Is that why does it appear? What else do you think, what other avenue do you think that the political parties, the new and small political parties can come in?
Well, I think that they have to keep hammering on that. You know, I mean, Nigerians are trying to choose, if you go by some of the things you see on social media, between the status quo, continuing with this status quo, or going back to status quo ante. I mean, it's as if our brains are kind of locked into this idea that the people we have seen and known all this while, who have been marauding all over the space, are the only ones that we're stuck with. But we are kind of coming up to say, we are the ones we have been waiting for. That within this Nigeria, we have people who can do it. So, yes, I must first of all commend you for taking on this topic, because it's a topic that we've taken on some of the media practitioners on, because part of it is when the media keeps repeating these two big parties, then you're kind of shutting out the other guys. Again, we've had a couple of instances where they organize programs and then they separate APC and PDP and then the others. And we've told them, I mean, this is wrong, because, hey, you can't tell if among the remaining 89 there's a gem in there, or 2 or 3, people who are really, you know, serious-minded and honest and trying to do something new in this country. I believe that the reason why you have a plethora of parties now is because a lot of Nigerians are actually sick and tired of being sick and tired. And we're saying that, listen, you know, rather than say, wait for 4 years, we can't wait for 4 years. We started this a long while ago. And that's also why you have quite a multiplicity of people running for presidency as well. Because
is that enough reason for a small political party to be confident of winning an election?
Absolutely. Now, you then have to work. No,
but do you see that happening? Do you see that happening? A small political party?
Absolutely.
Winning.
It's a possibility. But let me tell you something. That part of the problem on ground is that these two big parties, right, they came in and they actually rode on some inefficiencies in the system. They came in and they were funded by INEC to a large extent. And some of them also have put hands in public till to grow their party to that level. But you can also see what's going on in there. As I was coming here, I was reading different things about, you know, members of their party taking them to court. A lot of, I mean, some of them, their chairmen are actually threatened. You can see total lack of democracy.
Well, that's also happening among the new ones.
Yeah, to a lesser extent, you know, to a lesser extent. And again, that's the reason, because the examples that these two big parties have given are bad examples. They are not examples that you can grow and develop a country upon. You know, it's examples of waste. And I can actually sit here and start to reel to you indices that have come out now that shows Nigeria has actually become, of course, the poorest country in the world, the country with the highest level of inequality, according to Oxfam, you know, the highest level, one of the lowest human capital indices, according to the World Bank, and so on. So the point is what took us here is the status quo and the status quo ante. And I think that Nigerians should understand that the problem that faces this country is not a linear, simple problem. You sleep and wake up. That's a problem we have in Nigerians. They want miracles. Sleep, wake up, and then everything gets better. You have to struggle. So if you have 91 parties, this is the time for you to begin to do the math and actually do your research to find out which one is good out of all these parties and which one you can support.
Let me bring in Mr. Sani now. He said that there's a possibility that a smaller party could win next year. At least a major seat.
Absolutely.
At least a major seat. But let's look at it from the bigger picture, let's say presidential level. What political structures do smaller parties have to be able to win against parties that have been in existence for years and have tasted power?
No, you see, what is happening in the other parties, like he has said, due to lack of internal democracy, the fact that the whole place is in a total confusion, people are so dissatisfied with what is happening in those parties. Nigerians themselves, I'm talking about electorates now, are looking for something different. Now, they've been saying,
I understand you, but
so the structure
is very important.
No, we have the structure, like actually the Democratic Party. We are in all the states of the Federation, up down to the polling unit. We have our structure.
INEC says at least 120,000 polling units.
Yes.
Do you have representatives that can man all these polling units?
We do. We do. As actually Democratic Party, we do, because from the beginning, our constitution, we have executive at the polling unit level, not only ward level. We went down to the polling unit level. So every state you go to, it's not only do we have executives at the ward level, we took it down to the polling unit level, because we anticipated this. We know that this is coming, that we will have a situation where we have to man, all these election voting points, and what is happening in these parties today, believe you me, is like a campaign for the new parties like Action Democratic Party, and the Nigerians have seen the futility in continuing to do what we are doing and then expect different results. So we know these people cannot give Nigeria anything. They don't have to give. That's why they cannot give. When you look at any one of them, you ask, what have they done before in the past? Look at their track records. You mentioned the two parties.
But if you mention track record,
yes,
it's very important to remember that a party that hasn't been in power before doesn't have any track record.
No, it doesn't.
And as such, you need to start questioning
look at what they have to offer.
No, look at so that's why I started this conversation by asking, are you going to rely on the fact that Nigerians,
yes,
or the insinuations that Nigerians are tired of the two major political parties and believe that a smaller political party is going to win?
No, your presidential candidate like myself, you must demonstrate capacity. You must demonstrate that you can do it, that you have certain track records that people can look at and say, yes, let's give this person a chance to at least do something different. We know that oil and gas sector is the cash cow for this economy. That is the lifeline for this economy. If you ask
despite the fact that we're focusing on diversification now.
No, diversification cannot happen, just by saying it. You need resources, and the oil and gas sector holds that promise. If you manage it properly, it is where you can get the resources to diversify your economy.
I'll come back to you on that. But
yes.
let me bring Mr. Fasua in now. INEC has complained that the number of political parties, let me not call it a complaint, but has put it out there that the number of political parties contesting in the 2019 general elections might be an issue. Should we start looking at the possibility of a coalition?
Well, if you can have a couple of guys are forming some coalition, though we in ANRP we are not one of those, but we're still open to coalition of like minds if we can see untainted parties and so on. But I don't think INEC should complain. They know that this is not what they need to do. They need to go back and actually do their homework. Even in the US, in the UK, and all, we have a multiplicity of parties. You don't have to know about all of them. You know what I mean? So, however, if you look at those ones, you would see maybe 2 or 3 prominent parties, but there are parties that have separated themselves on the level of ideology. You will not see someone moving from Labour into Tory and then back and all of that, all this kind of nonsense we see here. So that's it. Okay, and again, I must quickly say one last thing that, look, I'm sorry, I'd have to disagree with
I think I'll let you disagree when we return.
The oil sector is actually a very, it's a misunderstood sector. It's actually not, there's nothing much there.
Mr. Fasua, I will let you conclude on that
naira.
When we return.
And it is not what we can actually
conclude on that when we return. But let's go for a break now. And when we come back, we'll look at the possibilities of coalitions and alliances, and of course, how the Electoral Act amendment by the National Assembly will affect new and smaller political parties. Please stay with us.